Hi, I'm Mary Michelle of OneChicMama, and I want to welcome you to OneChicMama TV, the weekly show bringing you the best style secrets from around the world. I tell you what you need to know to build a wardrobe that works for you and show you how to express your true style. I'm here to help you dress like you mean it. For more style secrets and tips, I'd like to invite you to sign up at OneChicMama.com, where you'll receive my free report, Top 5 Secrets for Creating Your Signature Style. Now, I'm excited to be here with you today. I've got a fabulous guest. But before I tell you about her, I want to share a great quote with you. This quote I love, and I'm not going to tell you the source for it because basically it's my own words, essentially. So I'm the source. But what it is that you don't have to have a reason to dress up and look good. Being a woman is reason enough. And I love that because so many people ask me, why do you dress up? Why do you like to get dressed? And I don't necessarily have a reason, but I think it says a lot about who we are as a person, says a lot about our self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves, and what kind of day we want to have. So when you get up in the morning, think about what you put on and how that reflects you. Now today I'm thrilled to introduce to you our guest. Her name is Jennifer L. Scott. She is a writer and editor of the Daily Connoisseur, which you can find more out about that at dailyconnoisseur.com. She lives in Santa Monica, California, with her eccentric husband. Can't wait to hear more about that. Her adorable daughters and her distinguished chihuahua. Her book, which I just got finished reading and can't wait to share with you, is called Lessons from Madame Chic. 20 Stylish Secrets I Learned While Living in Paris. And this is her first book, and we're going to talk today. We're going to dive deep into this book because she has some great tips that can really help you transform your wardrobe and your style. So welcome, Jennifer. I'm thrilled to have you here with us.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'm having a sip out of my teacup.
Oh.
Enjoy.
That's okay. Well, I'm really excited to talk with you today and to hear more about some of your tips and just what you have to share, what you learned while living in Paris. But first, I want to hear a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I'm a writer, and I that's my first book, Lessons from Madame Chic. But I have written other things as well that I hope will come out very soon. And I'm also a blogger, so I run the Daily Connoisseur. And I do videos as well. And I'm a mom. As you said, I'm married to my eccentric husband, which he always thinks that's very funny that I call him that. And then I have 2 little girls. So that's what I do. It keeps me busy.
Great. Well, tell us quickly. Tell us more. Elaborate more on the eccentric part.
Well, my husband's English, and I always kid him because, we're very different. When we got married, you don't think about the cultural differences when you're young and you get married, and we are so different. English people and American people are very different, just as we are different to the French. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of his, I call them eccentricities, are very normal to him, but to me, I find them very charming.
Uh-huh. Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So you are a writer for the Daily Connoisseur, and tell us just quickly, what kinds of things do you write about? What can we find more out about when we go there?
I like to write about the art of living well. I love to explore just even the smallest details of life that allow us to live well and live our best lives. And that's what the blog is about. Everything from style to tea to orchids. This past week I did a video on orchids. So I just like to explore all facets of life. And I also write about things like etiquette as well, which I think are very important components to living well.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say in the book, you talk a lot about not only style, but food and exercise and living and really just your way of being. And I love that because I feel like it is all so connected. How you do anything is how you do everything.
It is all connected. And today we're talking about style, and style is not just clothes. It's about everything, really. It's about how you live, the style in which you live. So I don't think you can talk about one thing without talking about all of it.
Definitely. Well, before we dive deep into this, I would like to invite our viewers, if you have a question for Jennifer, or would like to hear more about the book or what she has to say about something, or want to hear my point of view, I would like to invite you to call in or to get on the chat. Give us a question. We want to hear what you want to know. You can call in at 919-518-9773 or jump on the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Now, Jennifer, one thing that I'd like to ask you, when you spent time in Paris, I'm sure it was being in a foreign country, seeing all these different ways of dressing and shopping and doing things. What would you say was your big aha moment when it just kind of all clicked and came together for you and you realized, wow, they really do things very differently?
I think, honestly, the minute I stepped off the bus, because they shuttled us from the airport into a bus, into the heart of Paris. And that was my first time I was ever in Paris. And I just remember getting off that bus and thinking, wow, this is a beautiful city. I mean, like nothing you've ever seen before. And that was just, visually, that was an aha moment that, oh my gosh, something other than my small life, my little bubble that I lived in back in California exists. So I sort of instantly fell in love with this city visually. And then I went to live with my French family. I was introduced to them, and they lived so differently to anything I had ever known. I think most people know. This family was very traditional. And it was then a series of 6 months worth of aha moments with them. I mean, the whole thing was an aha moment for me.
Well, I'm sure it was a fabulous experience. I've been to Paris. Actually, it's probably been about 10 years ago no, I take that back. It's probably been about 7 years ago because it was just before I was pregnant with my son. And I cannot wait to go back. I loved every minute of it. But I want to talk with you a little bit about your chapter called about the 10-item wardrobe. That, to me, I think with my whole philosophy on style, I'm always telling my clients less is more, and helping women to maximize their wardrobe. So when I read this chapter, it totally resonates with me.
Oh, good.
Now, I don't know if I could personally only have 10 items in my wardrobe ever, but I love the philosophy, and I think there is a lot for women to learn from this. So talk to me a little bit about that. And well, actually, before we say anything, I want to hear from you too about your experience when you first walked into your bedroom. In the book, you talk about walking into your bedroom and seeing this small freestanding wardrobe and panicking. How did you handle that?
Well, it was all going so well. They had this beautiful apartment, and they showed me my bedroom. And my bedroom is this beautiful Parisian, chambre. And there was a, beautiful window. And Madame Chic showed me my wardrobe, which is this armoire. Freestanding, very small, with about 10 hangers. And of course, I was staying for 6 months, so I brought 2 suitcases completely full of clothes. Not my whole wardrobe, because I had tons of clothes back home, but, most of my wardrobe. So I did panic. I thought, where am I supposed to keep my clothes? And I lived out of my suitcase pretty much for the whole 6 months, because it only fit about 10 items. But I'm so glad that happened, because if that never happened, I would still have a closet completely full of clothes. I call it chaos. It's chaos, really. And so it was a funny thing, and all of my friends in Paris, we joked about it, how we had no closet space, because back home, we have big closets, and we fill them. Every last space is totally full. Over there, it's another story. It really is.
So what was the first thing that you changed about your wardrobe after seeing the way that they get dressed?
I think the first thing I did, and it took a while for me to do this. I think some people think I went to Paris and then I immediately adopted the 10-item wardrobe and I came back. And no, it took a long time for everything that I learned there to sink in for me. And it was more about when I came back to the States and I realized that the way that I was living was not working for me anymore. That I had so many clothes and I was shopping all the time. And I still had nothing to wear every morning. Getting ready was such a frustrating experience.
Hmm.
So that's when I started to think back to my time in Paris. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I try this? Why don't I try how they do it over there? So the first thing I did was I cleared the clutter from my wardrobe. And I do call extraneous clothes clutter because that's what they are. And that's what I encourage all women to do, is to get into your wardrobe and just start, just do it. Like, roll up your sleeves and start pulling things out, because there's so much that we have that we don't need. And you could probably get rid of 75% of your wardrobe and be left with that core.
Absolutely. Well, I thought it was interesting that you said you got rid of about 70 to 75% of your wardrobe. That's pretty bold, I think. How did you feel about that? Were you scared?
Yes, absolutely. And it's still hard to get rid of things. It is something that I think will take me a long time to have that become an easy thing. But what I recommend to women who are tentative, who don't really want to get rid of all their clothes right away, is to store your clothes away. So, pull out 75% or however much you think you need to pull out and put them in, those space bags.
Yes.
Or, a storage container, put them in the garage or under the guest bed in the guest bedroom or something. Get them out of your sight, basically, and have your wardrobe nice and clear with your core items. It doesn't have to be 10. Some people can do with 10 core items. Some people need 20 or 25. But, have your core items there. So that's the first thing, is if you really feel like you can't get rid of them, you can't donate them yet, just get them out of your sight. And I bet you in 1 year, you will open up that bag and you'll realize you didn't need anything or want anything in it. And then it's really easy to get rid of it.
Yes, definitely. One thing I do, I work as a style expert and image consultant. So one thing I do a lot with my clients is I get in their closets and help them clean it out. And I would love to do that. It's fabulous. Yeah. But in fact, I was in a woman's closet yesterday, and we actually didn't get rid of that many things yesterday because she had purged so much prior to that. But I have been in so many closets where we have gotten rid of probably close to 75%. And initially, people are scared. I think they get afraid. But one thing that I've found, and one thing that I've heard from my clients, is that once they get the clutter out and they realize this is stuff I was not wearing, or that I was trying to wear and it didn't make me feel great. And then one thing I take clients through is helping them to make new outfits from what they already have, which is exactly what you talk about. It's about the accessories and mixing and matching and putting things together in new ways. I've had clients tell me, I feel like I have more clothes. So This really is about, less is more philosophy.
Yes, it's almost like a paradox. When we have too many clothes, we have nothing to wear.
Exactly.
Because it's so hard to make the decision of what to wear that day. There's so much to choose from. When we pare it down and we have a minimal amount of clothing to pick from, and we love everything, we know everything looks good on us, we know we can mix and match and that it all goes together, it's so easy to pick out your clothes in the morning.
Absolutely.
And you'll never say that again. You'll never say, I have nothing to wear.
Absolutely. But I think, and one thing I tell my clients is that this is a process. And it can be a little bit scary. So I invite people to do exactly what you talked about. Take it step by step. And I think the fact that, it took you a while to assimilate all this information and figure out how to put it into play in your life, it's a transformation. And it doesn't happen overnight. It is definitely a process, and you have to be ready. So I think really meeting yourself where you are and saying, hey, I'm not ready to clear out 70% of my wardrobe, but maybe 30%, and then I'll go to 50. And I hear from women all over who do it in steps. And actually someone has Skyped in the chat, Danielle Marie. She said that, after reading your book, she was very inspired to clean out her closet. She wants to hear more about some of your favorite accessories. So let's segue into... We'll get to talking about the 10-item wardrobe. Let's talk first about accessories. That's kind of the icing on the cake, so we're going to have dessert first.
Okay. I like that. So accessories. again, I'm never one to go crazy for anything. I kind of have a capsule wardrobe of everything. So I have capsule accessories as well. I don't have crazy amounts of jewelry. I only have a few pieces that I love. And this could have something to do with, my skin's really sensitive, so I can't wear costume jewelry because it tends to give me a rash. I call this a high quality problem. So I only have, a few items of jewelry, but I take really good care of them and they're high quality. So, I have this white beaded necklace that I'm wearing today. I think it's really great for everyone to have a pair of stud earrings because they're really classic. But jewelry, I think just jewelry that you love that makes you feel, even if it's not expensive jewelry, that makes you feel expensive. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yes. It's really the finishing touch, and it adds that final polish.
So, and it does not have to be expensive.
I completely agree, and I talk so much about accessory. I love accessories, scarves, watches, bracelets, earrings, but I think that, everybody's different, and I think we'll get into personal style in a few minutes, but I think that really is where you can express your style and what suits you. But one thing I recommend to my clients, it's great to have your investment pieces, your diamond stud earrings or your gold pieces, but I like to encourage people to have fun with it. So each season, what I do myself and what I encourage clients to do is go to stores that are inexpensive. And honestly, I'll share a secret with you. Forever 21, which is, I don't know, it can be a fun store every once in a while. It's not my favorite place to shop, but you can get some great accessories in there, great jewelry that totally kicks your outfit up to the current season for $10 or less.
That's right. A good friend of mine, actually, we just went to a really fun movie premiere, and she got an amazing emerald green necklace from Forever 21. And she wore it with this designer dress that was so expensive. And the necklace was, I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't very much. But she looked like $1 million.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to cost. It's about how you carry yourself and how you mix and match your items.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jennifer, we've got a couple more questions here. Ricky wants to ask, she says, I keep finding reasons to hang on to all my shirts, all my dresses, etc. I can find reasons to hang on to everything. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I will say when I get into a client's closet, I think once people have hired somebody else to help you clean out your closet, people start handing stuff over. But I think when you're left to your own devices, you're going to rationalize. Talk to us about a few suggestions and tips you can share to help people get away from these rationalizations and just clear it out.
Sure. I mean, the thing is, you are going to try to talk yourself out of getting rid of anything. It's just human nature. You're going to tell yourself, oh, I paid a lot of money for this, I can't get rid of it. Or, my great aunt gave me this blouse, I can't get rid of it. She would be upset. But you will eventually come to a place where you don't use those excuses anymore. It's hard. It's hard to get rid of something, especially if you paid a lot of money for it and you never wore it. I totally understand that. But again, like we talked about before, I would suggest storing it away if you're not ready to get rid of it yet. Just get it out of your closet. Eventually, you will grow to love the way your closet is, how spacious it is, how your clothes look beautiful, how they're all the ones that you love. And there's no guilt trips in your closet. You don't open it and you see that blouse that you spent a lot of money on that you never wear, that you hate because it doesn't look good on you or whatever the reason is. So if you're not, I understand that. It takes baby steps. This won't happen overnight. But if you're not ready to get rid of it, if you're still making excuses and you're telling yourself reasons, just store your items away. Get them out of your sight. And eventually, over time, you will be able to stop that dialogue in your head and know when you should get rid of a piece.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And no, I will say something or share with you something that I've found is that so many women have a tendency to hold on to things. And I've done this too. I tell all my clients I have experienced everything they've experienced. And that's what helps me to help them. But one thing that I've found is that when I clean out a woman's closet, generally I'll donate the clothing to a battered women's shelter or to Dress for Success or somewhere where it can be repurposed and put to good use. And what I found is that when women know, oh, hey, it's going to go to help somebody, it makes it a lot easier to say, you know, I paid too much money for that, but I'm going to let it go have another life with somebody.
Yes.
So that
I just got the chills when you said that too, because that's so important because those clothes can mean a lot to a woman who is in need of it.
Yes.
And because they don't, and we have so much, it's so good to give back to the community, and that's a great way to do it.
Yes, definitely. Now, another question that I'd like to bring up, and this kind of ties into something that someone said in the chat, when you box things up, say you're working on losing weight, or you know you're going to get into that size and it's just not happening right now. So you box things up, you put them away. How long do you recommend hanging on to those? What's a good target? Say if...
Well,
Go ahead.
I think every woman knows deep down what the situation is with her own body. Mm-hmm. It's I've had 2 kids in a row, so I know what that's like, not being able to fit into my clothes before I had my children. Mm-hmm. So what I did, if you're in that situation, is you can store them away, and then, when you feel like you're getting back to your weight that you'd like to be at, then you can try them on. But you do have to be honest with yourself. If you were a size 0, in your early 20s, and you have clothes from then, and it's a few years later, and you're not going back there, just get rid of them. You need to dress the body that you have now, and love the body that you have now. And again, I think it's important that our clothes don't have guilt associations, that you don't open your closet and see a bunch of clothes that you used to fit into that you no longer fit into. There's no point in beating yourself up over that. So I would either store them away if you really think that you will realistically get into them again. And if you know that you won't, and there's nothing wrong with that, then donate them. And hey, if you do get back down to size, then you can go shopping and reward yourself and get some new clothes.
Absolutely. Let's get back to what you said about loving the body you're in right now. I could not agree more. And I think it's so important because so many women come into my studio and they tell me about their big hips or their big thighs or what they don't like about their body. And I really try to help them to retrain themselves and say, hey, my hair's great, or my face shape's great, or I've got great legs, to really focus on what's positive. Because just starting with that little shift can make a profound difference. But I also think that a lot of women aren't necessarily in touch with where their body is right now. And maybe holding on to the image that they used to be in college or 5 years ago or before the baby or a couple of years ago. So I think it's really important for women to assess where they are. In fact, I tell all my clients, it's important to acknowledge where you are right now and dress for the body that you are in.
Yes.
And so let's talk a little bit more about, I think, the whole weight loss thing. I have so many women tell me, well, when I lose 20 pounds, I'm going to call you. And it's not about me, but I think what they're saying is when I lose 20 pounds, then I'm going to clean out my closet. Then I'm going to go shopping. Talk to me a little bit about your philosophy around that and what you think women could do if they're in a weight loss situation to look great right now.
Well, so yesterday, a Chicago Tribune article came out that I was in.
I saw that. That's great.
Yeah, and I'm in it with Stacey London from TLC's What Not to Wear and designer Jason Wu, and we're talking about wants versus needs. And Stacey London, who I love, has a quote that she says, style is not a reward for the skinny, or something. Mm-hmm. And I love that quote because it's true. Why, when someone says to you, oh, I'm going to come to you when I've lost 20 pounds, that's them. They think they're going to reward themselves when they lose the weight. And, we just live in a society that dictates what we think is beautiful. So if a woman thinks her thighs are too big, because why? The supermodel on the cover of the magazine doesn't have big thighs. don't get me started. Okay. I think that we are too hard on ourselves as women, that I'm all about living in the present moment. So the present moment is what your body is right now. You can be stylish right now. You can love how you look right now. Nobody can tell you otherwise. If they do, don't listen to them. Mm-hmm. So I think that if you are, there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight. Let's say you are overweight and you feel that, for health reasons that you need to get down. That's absolutely fine. But you can still be stylish where you are now. And, if you lose the weight, that's great. Then you're going to be a different size, and you can go shopping, or you can alter your clothes at the tailor. You can do whatever you need to do. But it's important to maintain a positive attitude about where you are now, because that's what's going to make you beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. I'm just going to take a quick break here to say that we are talking. We're talking with Jennifer L. Scott, and I have a copy of her book, Lessons from Madame Chic. And I hope I'm saying that right. But it's 20 stylish secrets I learned while living in Paris. Now, I wish they were lessons I learned while living in Paris, but I have never lived in Paris. But it's my pleasure to talk with Jennifer, and we want to hear from you. If you have questions, get on the chat. Let us hear from you. But Jennifer, let's get back to, we had one more question that I wanted to address about handbags. Do you have a guideline for how many handbags a woman should have? And do you have any favorite brands you'd like to share with us?
Well, again, I think I'm a strange case here because I only ever have 2 handbags and an evening clutch. So, like I said, I have a capsule everything. So I have a capsule handbag collection. I always have a black handbag because for me, it's important to have a black handbag. And I've had this one I believe in investing in high quality handbags that last you a long time. Because, if you have a high quality one, it can really make your outfit look good. It can make it look expensive. Mm-hmm. And it will last you. So in the end, you will save more money because you're not constantly updating your bag. So I always have a black handbag and then another handbag. So for spring, summer, I have this sort of white faux snakeskin leathery bag, which is really beautiful. And then I have an evening clutch for when I go out in the evening. So I don't believe in having dozens and dozens and dozens of handbags. I think it's unnecessary. Mm-hmm. But I know not many women are like me in that respect.
Well, you definitely sound like a minimalist, but it sounds like you have exactly what you need and not too much, which I think many of the closets I get into, they have way too many handbags that they don't use. They're collecting dust. They forget they have them. And then once we clear them out, it's liberating.
Yeah.
So I agree.
That's what the Chicago Tribune article was on. It was on wants versus needs. Mm-hmm. And I think too many of us have too many wants, basically, mm-hmm. and not enough, needs. We kind of go crazy with what we want, but do we really need it?
Yes. Let's talk for a little bit about the psychology of shopping.
Okay.
Now, I think I would, and then there's something else I want to chat with you about, but I think to talk about shopping habits, what did you see in Paris that was so different from American women and how they shopped?
Well, I think what I noticed over there is that, the whole, we've all heard this, quality over quantity. But have we really thought about it? And, you see there's so many, for example, high-end lingerie stores in Paris. They're everywhere. And it's because I think a lot of French women buy high-quality lingerie, and they're willing to invest in it because it's important to them. So the thing is that because they buy so few clothes, they are able to afford better quality clothes. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely a psychological thing that, excuse me, we could all look into with ourselves. Do we value quality over quantity? Or do we shop too much? Are we constantly shopping? Mm-hmm. Or do we save our money for the next purchase that we need? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's something that I definitely noticed over there.
Absolutely. I run into all sorts of different situations with clients. I have some clients who love to shop, and they're continually shopping the bargain rack, the thrift store, the sale rack. And
Yeah.
sometimes they get some great stuff, but I think there's so much of it. You can really get lost.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing I see a lack of is people making a list of what they need. And so, I like what you talked about with the needs. And one thing that I encourage clients to do, and that certainly an assignment I would give to everybody watching, start a list. Know what you need and want to see in your closet. I tell my clients when they wake up in the morning and go to get dressed, what do they want to see? If you go to reach for something and think, well, hey, if I had X, Y, or Z to put with this, it would be fabulous. And what I've found personally is that oftentimes that one thing I'll come back to it and think, well, I wish I had a leopard print cardigan. And then I realize for the next couple of days, I'm thinking about a leopard print cardigan. And I know, well, hey, if I brought in a leopard print cardigan, I'd have multiple outfits with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is about looking at things from a bigger perspective. And I want to segue into talking about the capsule wardrobe, which you talk so much about. Less is more, and how you can have 10 items or just start with 10 items and build on that, but have things that work interchangeably. Now let's talk about that for a minute. Give us an example of a great capsule going into spring and summer. Or perhaps it could be one of yours. Share with us for a few minutes about some items that you think are important when having a capsule.
Sure. And I will be doing on my blog, I'll be doing the video for my spring 10-item wardrobe soon. And if you go onto my blog and my YouTube channel, you can see my past videos for examples of fall, winter. Let me back up a second, because a lot of women, they get scared when they hear 10-item wardrobe. They think I can never only have 10 items. And what I want to explain with that is they are 10 core items, and that does not include certain extras. Things like blazers, t-shirts are not included in your 10 items because, especially I'm a mom, I stay at home, I work at home, I'm on the playground, I need a lot of t-shirts throughout the week, so t-shirts, they're not included. Accessories are not included. Cocktail dresses, special occasion dresses, coats, jackets, all of these things. Cardigans, I don't include cardigans because, and again, I'm not suggesting with your extras that you go wild and have a ton of them. I still recommend only having a few of each. But the 10 core items are the core, things that you can mix and match together. So for example, for spring, I think this spring, although I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think I'll have about 4, I love dresses, so I'll probably have about 4 or even 5 dresses, because it's one outfit. You don't need to worry about what goes with anything else. It just goes. So I love dresses for spring and summer. But some women they don't like to wear dresses. So it all depends on what you like to wear. So you could have dresses, pretty lightweight blouses. This blouse is a part of my spring summer 10-item wardrobe. It's a nice silk turquoise blouse that's very light and breezy. I always have a pair of white jeans in my spring summer capsule wardrobe. Mm-hmm. They just make everything look so crisp. I'm wearing them today with this turquoise top. And you could have a skirt. Maybe I have a white skirt from APC that goes really well with the blouses that I have, for example. So what it is, it's all about your vision. And it's really fun to do. If you sit down and you think, okay, what is my vision for spring, summer? What would I like to convey? And so you can start to think about your favorite colors and what will go together. I have a lot of cream and turquoise, and I think I like lavender for the spring and summer. So it's about really having fun with it. And like you said, having a list. So once you realize, okay, this is what I'd like. This is my vision for this upcoming season. Now, where are the holes? What do I need to fill in? So, for example, you were talking about a leopard cardigan. So let's say you think, yes, I do need a new cardigan. That would go really well with my white jeans or the skirt that I have. That's when you add it to your list. And so the next time you're out shopping, you can keep your eye out for that, and you can buy the perfect one that will fit in with your wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, I love that. That's great. One thing I want to talk about is, or one thing that I share with my clients, we definitely talk about your core items and then what I call your accent items. And that would be the blazers, the cardigans, the tops. I love your top, by the way. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
One thing I want to talk about when building that's what I call your foundation, the core. When building that, one thing that I love to talk about and actually really like to get a little sassy about is wearing the color black. So many, and I definitely want to get your take on this, but so many clients and so many women that I work with, they have a closet filled with black. And one thing that I do with my clients is a color analysis. So we determine, is black actually a good color for you? Or is it not? Do you need to find something else? What's your philosophy on that? And what did you see when you were in France? Did you see a lot of black, or did you see a lot of women wearing other neutrals?
I did see a lot of black in France, but I do have a lot to say about black clothes because I used to be that person who only wore black. And something about having kids, actually, after I had my children, I didn't want to wear black all the time anymore because it just seems so, I don't know, morbid. Mm-hmm. I wanted to look light and happy and pretty for them. So that's funny that sort of changed for me. But I think a lot of women wear black because they think it makes them look skinny. Mm-hmm. And they think, well, it's easy to match everything. If everything's black, then it's easy to match. And so my thoughts are, if you're happy with black, then that's fine. But I wasn't happy when I was wearing black all the time. It was almost, I was just being safe. I'm happier now wearing more color. Mm-hmm. And I've actively tried to wear more color over the past few years. There's a part in my book where I was wearing a blouse when I was living in Paris. It was a sweater set, actually, that was spring green. You know, that really sort of bright, it's almost like pea soup green. And Madame Chic told me that it didn't look good on me. She said that the color was not flattering. And I was completely shocked because it was just very blunt of her to tell me I didn't look good in it. But the thing is that I knew I didn't look good in it. I knew deep down I wore it because it was a gift from somebody. So I was, again, if we go back to the reasons, I was wearing this for the wrong reasons when I should have gotten rid of it. It washed me out. It made me look sallow. And I think all women inherently know what color looks good on them and what they feel beautiful in. But for some reason, we let other things dictate what we wear. We wear black because we think we look skinny, or we wear this sweater set because it was a gift and we don't want to get rid of it. Yes. And really, we should tune out all of that noise and just wear the colors that we feel good in. I feel good in this color. That's why I'm wearing it.
I think it's gorgeous on you.
Thanks.
And one thing I'll say, actually, somebody sent us a message asking for tips on choosing the right color. One thing I will say is my episode from last week, I talked so much about color and really finding what I call your fabulous 5 colors. So I would encourage you to watch that. We'll touch on that briefly. But one color that I will say, that sort of mint green that you have on, is a beautiful color. It's also a hot color we're seeing this spring. I'm seeing that everywhere, but I'm also seeing different versions of that. And what I tell my clients is, when you see a color that's hot, and it may not be your best color, find your best version of it. Because I wear that color, and I'm also wearing a color that's a little bit more intense, more of a robin's egg blue. It's like a pale turquoise. That color looks so good on so many different skin tones. So blues and greens are great for intensifying your skin tone, for looking great on a lot of different people, whether they have pale skin, dark skin. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, because it definitely does matter, but I always tell clients, trust your intuition. Put it on. Don't ask the salespeople what they think. Don't ask maybe you can ask your best friend if you know she will be honest with you. But I think it's great that Madame Chic told you up front that didn't look good. Because even though you may have been surprised by that, it's kind of a gift that she was honest with you.
It was a gift.
And it sounds like she kind of liberated you and helped you acknowledge something that you already knew.
Yeah, she did.
And
it's, I think, touching on what you just said, it's important if we do a gut check. A gut check. What does your gut tell you? If you're wearing something that's hot pink, for example, and you're a bit of a shyer person, your gut probably says you don't feel comfortable in it. And it's important to acknowledge that.
Definitely.
Gut feeling.
Definitely.
Right.
And I tell clients, when you put something on and you're like, well, I'm not sure, the answer really is no. And when you put on something that's a yes, you're like, yes, you know it. You feel it. And it's that feeling that you really want to honor, because that's what you're going to carry with you throughout the day. Getting back to the 10-item wardrobe, somebody asked, do you keep only 10 items and change them out each season? And how often do you change the 10? That's a good question. And I know, based on reading the book and from my own experience, that the 10 items are not going to be the same for each season, because certainly you can't wear the same thing in the middle of summer that you're going to wear in the winter.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about your philosophy around that and what people should plan for.
Okay, that's a great question. And so basically, with the 10-item wardrobe, or however many core items you choose to have, I find that it's great to change it every season. And I know on my blog I do fall, winter, spring, summer, but it is good, in spring to evaluate, and then in summer to evaluate as well. So what I find is that I go into the main seasons. Like, we're going into spring, summer here in California. It's kind of cold today, but it's going to be hot very soon. In this transitional time, I have my spring, summer wardrobe ready, but I have some transitional pieces as well. For example, it's supposed to rain this week, so I have some sweaters that I include in my extras, and I might need to bring those out. And the thing is that you always have to have a few transition pieces, because you never know what the weather is going to be like. So that's really important. But yes, it's what you do is you have your core items and you evaluate. The thing is, you are wearing these items in heavy rotation. You're going to be wearing probably the same thing at least twice a week. I wear the same thing all the time because I don't have a problem with that anymore. I used to think that, I don't know, it was gauche if you wore the same thing twice in a week. But now I'll wear the same thing 3 times in a week. It doesn't bother me anymore. As long as I look good in it, I think there's no problem. But you will be wearing these things in heavy rotation, so they might start to look a bit worn. So sometimes at the end of a season, I'll have to donate it, or even before the season is over. If you're wearing a blouse that's been in the washer, so much. So you have to always have your editing cap on. You have to always edit your wardrobe and keep in mind what needs to go, what should come in. But it's all very thoughtful. But yes, I do recommend changing it out every season. When summer hits here and it's going to be hot pretty much all the time, I will probably change up a few things as well. But yeah, I encourage everybody to check out my blog, and you'll see I'll talk about all of this in videos, and I'll show you what I do.
That's great. Let me ask you, when you get rid of something, do you automatically replace it? Say if it's one of your 10 core items and it's maybe your favorite pair of white jeans, do you automatically go out and buy a new pair, or do you transition into something else?
It depends on what it is. If it's something like white jeans, which for me are a very core staple, then yes, I do. I should probably replace the ones I have because they're looking a bit worn. But yes, if it's something like white jeans, I will go out and replace them. For example, I had these skinny jeans that were in my video for my fall, winter 10-item wardrobe, and I have worn those jeans so much. I need to replace them. Now they're getting a bit misshapen. So if it's something like that, a core item, then yes, I will absolutely replace it.
Now we have a question that's interesting. Annie Freed, thank you, Annie, for your question. She says, I can wear my sweatpants 3 times a week. What steps did you take to think it was okay to wear the same thing more than once? And were you in a corporate atmosphere? I guess what she's asking is, and this is something that I talk a lot, we could talk about this in a couple of different ways. How do you feel? And I know you said you feel perfectly comfortable wearing the same thing multiple times a week, but do you see the same people? If you're in an office setting, you're going to see the same people. What's your philosophy? Is it okay still to wear the same thing in front of the same people, or do you feel like you should change it up a little bit?
See, I say yes, it is okay, even if you're seeing the same people. This is what they do in France. And this is like one of the things I learned. And you'll notice this. If you watch a French film, you will notice that the lead actress will probably wear the same thing over and over and over in the film, even though the day has changed. When you watch an American film, the lead actress will never wear the same thing twice, more than likely. It's what I refer to Sex in the City in the book, where, Carrie had these amazing wardrobe changes, but she never wore the same thing twice. And that's our society here. We're not used to that. I think there's nothing wrong with wearing the same thing twice, even if you're seeing the same people, because if your outfit is high quality, if it looks good, if it's not worn down, I see absolutely no problem with it. So I unabashedly wear the same thing all the time. People always see me in the same things. And I think it's fine. But it's something that you have to get used to. And not everyone is like me. Some people will, I don't know if they feel embarrassed to wear the same thing twice because it means they think it means something to other people. But I see no problem with it, and I encourage it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, one thing I would throw out there to people, if they are worried about that or just have some sort of stigma around that, mix it up. And actually, Danielle Marie wear it style with different accessories. But what I talk to my clients about is looking at your outfit or looking at your wardrobe from two perspectives: your core items and your accent items. And the way I talk about them is your core items are there's things you can wear 5 days in a row, and nobody's going to really remember. Now, the accent items are what are more memorable and make them stand out. Maybe it's your red sweater or the leopard print sweater or your hot pink top. It's something that is going to be more memorable, and chances are you're not going to want to wear that 5 days in a row, but you might. Yeah. But I think there's a lot to be said about mixing and matching things in different ways. And if you have your 10 items, then what you can do is you can mix those up in multiple ways. Maybe you don't wear things the same way every single time. And that's definitely something I encourage my clients to do because they get more bang for their buck. They get more value from their wardrobe. They get more versatility. And it helps to build longevity, too, because you're not wearing the exact same thing every single time.
Yeah, that's a really good point, too, is helping out with the accessories and changing things up. I completely agree with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have a question from Ricky. She asks for suggestions to look chic while her hands are getting dirty gardening or cutting the grass, doing outdoor work. She says she always hopes she can get her work done without visitors or without being seen because she's in frumpy clothes, I guess. Now, what would you recommend for looking chic without totally wrecking your clothes?
Okay, so a lot of people ask this question too, so thank you, Ricky, for asking this. But if you're in the garden on your knees, like digging in the dirt, yes, you're going to have to you can't wear your white jeans and your turquoise blouse. So that's the first thing. So if you are gardening, then yes, I recommend that you have some gardening clothes that you wouldn't be embarrassed if the neighbor stopped by and chatted with you while you were gardening. So whatever that means for you. But, a lot of women ask me, Jennifer, I have to do the housework all day long. I have small children. I have a baby. How can I look chic while I have to do all of this? And I still encourage everyone to, one of the chapters in the book is called Look Presentable Always. I encourage women to look as presentable as they can, not in a high maintenance way at all, but just do their best. And if you have a capsule wardrobe, it's really easy for you to pick out clothes quickly. If you're at home, I recommend putting an apron on. If you have to cook or clean the kitchen or clean the toilets even, if you put an apron on over your clothes, you can preserve them. And if the apron is chic, then there you go. You're going to look chic while you're doing it. But don't be afraid to get your clothes dirty. I think a lot of us save our best clothes for later, and later rarely comes. We save them for some unknown thing in the future, and we're not wearing them on a daily basis. And I think part of living well is using our best things on a daily basis. And that certainly includes clothes.
I definitely agree. Actually, the closet I was in yesterday, we made some great new outfits using things that she was saving for the holidays. Maybe because they had, well, actually, a couple of tops specifically had a little bit of sparkle on them or metallic. She thought, oh, they're just holiday. I can only wear them then. I put this particular top with a different jacket, paired it with some pants that were not quite as dressy, and it turned it into something she could wear every day to work. So I like to really sort of, I hate to use the word repurpose, but find a new way to wear something so that you can wear it every day. If you feel like it's too dressy, why not enjoy it right now? Find a way that you can take it down a notch.
Yeah.
Because I completely agree with that. And especially if it's something that's nice and it's really dressy, why would you only want to save it for special occasions? Because in this day and age, we have far more casual occasions than we do dressy occasions.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. But, I have to say, I love the chapter, the Look Presentable Always. Love it. Because I think so many women they give up. And I don't mean to say that in a blaming way or judgmental way. But women tell me, I've just kind of given up because I've gained weight or I'm too busy or I don't have time for my style. But I think it really is honoring ourselves to say, I deserve to look great, whether I'm just going to the grocery store. And I do talk a lot to my clients about how when you are at the grocery store, you are absolutely going to run into that one client you've been trying to connect with, or I think the way you put it, your ex-lover or your former BFF, somebody who's going to make you self-conscious about it. So why not show up looking your best?
Yes. I mean, actually, last week I was at the grocery store, and for the very first time in my life, a reader recognized me at the grocery store. And she said, Jennifer, I read your book. And I thought, oh my gosh, thank God I look good. Because if I was at the grocery store in my pajamas or whatever, then, but, I wouldn't do that because that's not what I do anymore. But, the thing is that I think we're all so busy. There's no woman out there who is not busy. We are all busy. We all have things going on. And what I like to do is think about life a little bit more passionately. And, we get up in the morning and it's a long day. If you have children that you're raising or if you have to go to the office, the day is long, but you might as well, with all of the small, even mundane things you have to do in the morning, enjoy yourself. And getting ready is part of that for me. So opening my closet, okay, it's easy for me to pick out what to wear because I don't have very many choices. I put on my clothes. There's another chapter in the book called The No Makeup Look, and that discusses creating a makeup routine that is very time effective, that you can do really easily. So it normally takes me about 5 minutes to put my makeup on in the morning. I don't wear makeup every day. Sometimes I don't have time to do that. But it's all about the details, doing something, making some sort of effort toward making your appearance nice. And you're just going to feel so much better when you do.
Definitely. I think it's all about really creating a routine, whether it's your clothing, how you get dressed, your makeup, that works for you. It's not about trying to do something that you think you should do or what your best friend's doing or somebody else. It's not about that at all. But I think just really honoring yourself. Now, getting back to talking about the no makeup look, I love that. But talk to us a little bit more about what that means.
Well, I always used to be afraid of wearing makeup. When I was in high school, I just remember seeing the girls with the line of foundation that ended right at their chin. And I remember thinking, I never want that to be me. So I just never wore makeup. And when I started to experiment with it, I just think it's important for every woman, if she's interested in makeup, to develop a routine that works for her schedule, to find products that she loves, that make her skin feel good, something that you can do without even thinking about it, that you can just, some days I only put on tinted moisturizer, I always do my eyebrows. I always put eyebrow powder on because I feel like they frame my face, so that's important. So I always do tinted moisturizer, or I'll do a mineral powder. I do my eyebrows, mascara, and lip balm. Sometimes that's all I do. Sometimes I add blush. Sometimes I'll add bronzer or eyeliner. It just depends. And I go through all of this in my book. But it's just about having a routine that you feel comfortable with, that makes you feel confident about yourself. If I can teach myself this, anybody can, because I was completely clueless. I do recommend talking to professionals and getting their opinion about what colors look good on you and that type of thing. But yeah, I think have fun with it. Makeup is fun.
Yes. It is totally fun, but it's something that I think a lot of women are intimidated by. Mm-hmm. So I love the whole philosophy around the no makeup look, because that's a great first step. If you don't, especially if you're fearful of having the line of the foundation, which is definitely not what anybody should want. But if you're afraid of that and you're not sure where to start, that's a great place to start. And I'm with you. I always do the brow powder because it makes a huge, huge difference.
Yes, it makes a huge difference. And I wish I'd known that a long time ago.
Is there a particular brand of makeup that you like or that you'd recommend?
I've used Bare Minerals. I like Bare Minerals, and I've used them for years. I like Hourglass. Their tinted moisturizer. It's what I'm wearing right now. I really like them. Do you know them?
I don't. I've never heard of that. Where do you find that?
I found them at Sephora.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Hourglass. I like them. For eyeshadow, I love Chanel. They just have the best eyeshadow. I mean, fantastic. And then I also just did a lipstick review. Actually, there's a giveaway going on my blog right now that I'll announce tomorrow. Oh. But for lipstick by Belvada, they have really great lipsticks. The packaging is environmentally friendly. So I like to look at the components of the makeup and pick because of that.
Definitely. Well, a couple more questions before we wrap up. Somebody wants to know, does Madame Chic know about your book? And if she does, what does she think about it?
I have been trying to get in contact with them. I have actually written to them, and I have not heard back. So this is something that obviously I'm hoping that one day I will get to see them again. It's been over 12 years since I lived with them. And no, we haven't, we're not in contact. I want her to know about this book because I think she would be so, so proud. So I am in touch right now. I'm in the process of getting back in touch with them. But yeah, I have been trying over the past few years and nothing
90
so far.
seconds.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any plans for a follow-up book?
I do.
Oh.
And yes, there will be many more books to come from me, but I can't really talk about them right now. But yes, there will be lots more. So please go on my author website and sign up for the newsletter.
Great. Well, I will say just the way you write, you write in a style that women can relate to, and I love how you share so many personal stories. It was a very easy read, and you've got some great information. So again, the book it's called Lessons from Madame Chic, 20 Stylish Secrets I Learned While Living in Paris. And I assume you can buy this at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much any major bookseller. And I highly, highly recommend it because she's got some good tips in here. So
thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely. Well, Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for being here today. This has been so much fun to talk with you and to hear a little bit more about your story and hear about your tips. You've shared some great information today, and I know our listeners are really going to enjoy this. So
thank you. It's a pleasure being on.
Well, thank you very much. I wish you all the best, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, that'd be great.
Take care, Jennifer. Bye-bye. Bye. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the conversation with Jennifer L. Scott. She's got some great tips to share. I highly recommend that you pick up her book. It's wonderful. I wish we could have touched on everything tonight, but she even talks about eating and exercising and just a whole way of passionately living your life. So I definitely enjoy talking with her. But for today, I want you to know that you already are beautiful. That's my little reminder. I want you to say it to yourself each and every day because you are beautiful. And this is Mary Michelle with One Chic Mama signing off.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays 8 till 9 p.m. Health Inn with Debbie Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. OneChicMama with Mary Michelle, Wednesdays 4 till 5 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.